Hello, good evening, everyone. There is two more stories, exactly two more, because I checked, in our Dreams and Miracles book. So I'm going to go ahead and put them up tonight. So we'll be done with this book so I can pass it along for someone else to enjoy. Proud to say we've got through a whole book together. Isn't that nice? Anne Spangler, and these are all true stories, as you know. And I love those kind of stories, true stories, and stories about angels, and stories about Jesus and God, and I just love stories like that are based on, truth. Excuse me. Alright, this one is called Fire in the Desert, and it is by Mcdermott Shideler. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me again. Stomach's been acting up off and on all day long. But trust me, it's not that bad today. Alright. As always, I will start off by reading you guys the introduction. Mcdermott Shideler is the author of numerous books, including Theology of Romantic Love, a study of the writings of Charles Williams, Consciousness of Battle, and her newest, Starting Out. The daughter of a federal judge, she describes herself as having been a difficult child whose imaginative personality clashed with her parents' more legalistic approach to life. More than 60 years ago, at age 16, she had a dream that confirmed her transcendent spiritual reality. Like a story, a picture, a dance, it appealed to her imagination rather than to her intellect, and therefore communicated more than it explicitly said. Okay, now let's get into Mary's story. This happened some years back. This is an older one. I think this is the oldest story we have in the book. The dream occurred in the early morning of July 22nd, 1933. I was 16 years old. I was crossing a desert of red sand and red rocks under a red sky. Never seen nothing like that before. Wouldn't that be amazing to see? The footing must have been rough, because I remember my relief at a moment's rest when I came to a comparatively clear space. I knew that around me others were trudging in the same direction. Where were we all going? Why were we there? I did not know. In silence, we simply plodded on. After a time, I was on the ledge of a cliff overlooking the red plain. A visible flame moved from one person to another, but not to all. It seemed to pick an erratic course, and I knew that it was coming next to me. I waited for it because there was nothing else I could do. Even had I not been paralyzed by terror, there was no place on that narrow ledge for me to go. It approached, it reached me, and I was swept by an intense heat that burned me without pain. It engulfed me, and I engulfed it in that eternity that is without beginning or end or duration. I was utterly fulfilled beyond any possibility of description. When it had gone, I held gold in my hand. I woke up speaking words that had been given me. Gold from dross. Was it a dream or a vision? Was it the product of psychological tensions deep in my subconscious, or a revelation from God? Later, when I came across the writings of the mystics I recognized intently that my dream differed from the classic mystical experience only in that it had occurred or had begun when I was asleep. Sorry. In the dream, I had felt as if I were being approached by something beyond and alien to myself, another. While psychologists could offer a coherent and persuasive explanation of my experience, the explanation of my mystics was and carried different consequences for living. I just really couldn't believe. Through the years, I was drawn down and down to the one point. What had come to me in the dream? God or my unconscious self? Had I been comforted with something outside or inside myself? And how in heaven's name could I tell? In the end, I decided God had met me there. I did not choose that alternate because it solved more of my problems. If anything, it raised more, since it set me in the opposition to the world in which I had been brought up and which still surrounded me. Not because it offered a simpler rationale for living, but on the contrary, by isolating me from my fellows, it created complications of many kinds. Not because it saved me from the judgment that my innermost self was a sinkhole and my actions the result of despicable motives. If the dream were from God, His judgment as expressed in the dream were even more terrible. Instead, my choice was made on the only ground that in the end can be held and defended with complete integrity, that one alternative rang true and the other did not. It was left to me to accept or reject the presence in my dream only by a shred, a whisper, a splitting of a hair. I chose the rendering joy of heaven over the pursuit of pleasure, belief over unbelief, fulfillment over success, and I never regretted that choice. And that was Mary Mcdermott Shideler's story, Fire in the Desert. I hope you guys enjoyed Mary's story, and I will come back with another video, our last video out of this book. And till then, I hope you guys have a great evening, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Bye, guys.